Rule 8. Use representative examples. From a workbook for arguments from Morrow and Weston. Even a large number of examples may misrepresent the set of things that's being generalized about. Do all insects bite, for example? Sure, we can think of a lot of insects that do bite, like mosquitoes, black flies, and naturally these are the first things that we think of. We may have to consult a biology textbook or a good online source to remember how many kinds of insects there are that don't bite, though. And this turns out to be most insects, actually. So, moths, praying mantises, ladybugs, most beetles, and so on. Likewise, a large number of examples of ancient Roman women establish very little about women generally. This is because ancient Roman women are not necessarily representative of other women in earlier times. If we want to make a sweeping claim about women in earlier times, the argument needs to consider women from other early times and from other parts of the world as well. It's easy to overlook how unrepresentative, often wildly unrepresentative, our personal samples often are. Actually, very few, if any of us, really know a representative sample of other people. Yet we constantly generalize about other people as group, such as when we make claims about human nature, or about how our town might vote in the next election. So here's an example of a bad argument. Everyone in my neighborhood favors the school bond. Therefore, the school bond is sure to pass. This argument's weak because single neighborhoods seldomly represent the voting population as a whole. A well-to-do neighborhood may favor a cause unpopular with everybody else. Student neighborhoods and university towns are regularly carried by candidates who do poorly in other places. Besides, we don't always have good evidence even about the views held in specific neighborhoods. The set of people eager to display their political preferences to the world, in yard signs for example, is unlikely to be representative of a cross-section of the neighborhood as a whole. A good argument that the school bond is sure to win requires a representative sample of the entire voting population. It's not easy to construct a sample like this. In fact, it usually takes professional help, and even professional pollsters regularly predict elections incorrectly. Telephone pollsters used to call landlines, for example, because cell phone numbers are not as publicly accessible. But only a certain demographic of groups still even have landlines, and they're increasingly unrepresentative. In general, look for the most accurate cross-section you can find of the population that you're generalizing about. If you want to know what students think about some subject at your university, don't just ask your friends or generalize from what you hear in class. Unless you have quite a range of friends, or you take a wide range of classes, your personal sample is very unlikely to accurately mirror the whole student body. Similarly, if you want to know what people in other countries think about the United States, don't just ask foreign tourists, because they're, of course, people who chose to come to the United States to visit. That's not representative of all people. A careful look at a diverse range of foreign media should give you more or less a representative picture. When your sample is people, an even more basic point is that no one should be able to self-select to be a part of your sample. This immediately disqualifies almost all online or other mail-in polls to which individuals can decide whether to respond or not. Again, the set of people who are willing or eager to express their opinions is almost certainly not representative of the whole population. But they might be people more likely to have strong opinions, or a lot of time on their hands. It may be interesting to know what this group of people thinks, but not because they necessarily speak for anyone but themselves.